Hey there, my name is Gavin Stevens. I'm building my school community. It's the AI Engineering Academy, aiea.dev. And I really struggled with some of the content, just managing the content in here in some of my different courses. I want to maybe make some edits to some of this stuff and just want to make sure it's all in sync how I want it, and I found that a little challenging, especially if I wanted to use different tools to help develop some of this content. And so what I did is I built a new extension for Google Chrome, and it's called the GitHub to School Sync. You can get it at GitSkool.com. So if you just go to GitSkool.com, you can get the extension for free. There's a free trial. 7 days, and you can try it out. So what's the extension do? Well, let me demo that for you. So here I am in my school community, and I've got the extension loaded up over here. So normally, you'd add the extension to Chrome, and then you'd come to your school community, and you'd go to extensions, and then you should see it here on the list, GitHub to School Sync. It creates this panel on the right, and so to configure it, the first thing that you do is come down here and click on Settings. So mine's already pre-configured, but you'll see you'll need to enter a GitHub token and a repo name and then a default folder. Those are the only 3 settings that are required. So to do a GitHub token, you can just click the link here. This will talk to you about the different types. You can use either a classic or a fine-grained token, depending on what you want. We'll just do classic for this example. So you just open up GitHub tokens. We're going to go to classic, say generate a new classic token, and here we'll just call this Git Skool, and we'll say it's good for 30 days, 90 days, 90 days, and then we'll just check off repo, and that's it. That's the only permission that you need to provide. So you can generate that token. We're going to copy the token out, come back over here and paste the token here. Then you need to get the GitHub repository that you're going to use. So here, if I go back to GitHub and come back to my main, I'm in right here. I want to use the aiea.dev AI Engineering Mastery course, and so I'm just going to grab the URL right to here. It doesn't need to have the entire GitHub part, just everything after github.com. Paste that here, so it's the owner and the name of the course, and then a default folder. So if we just look at that, you can see the content here. I actually have a branch called new content. If we click that, you can see this is the repository structure, and so the root would really just be course, and then there's a bunch of different courses under that, and so we'll just set that to course like so, course / I believe. So save. All right, and that's it. So if you close this page and close the extension, and then go back to your school, and you can just reload the extension, and that's it. So it'll load everything up from GitHub at that point. And so over here you've got a branch selector. You can pick from main, or I have a new content branch. If you want, you could create a new branch. So you create a branch, or just pick your main. You don't have to have branches. It's just for version control, And so then what you want to do is you can start by exporting your existing content out into GitHub. So say, for example, this lesson right here, generating art and images. Notice it only has 2 lessons. And so it's a good example. So what we'll do is we'll just click on this first page and come over here. And we want to, in essence, push this into GitHub. And so to do that, it's wondering, well, what's the path? What do you want to call it? And it's defaulted it over here based on the title. And so notice it says course. That was our default. Welcome to the foundation. I don't want it right there. I want kind of a generating art and images, and so I'll grab this and just put this right here, course / generating art and images, and then I'll do a /. And that's what I want. And so that's it. I'll just say push to GitHub. So it'll push the content of this page out into GitHub. It'll refresh, and you can see now here's the HTML file that it created. You can also see that it's now mapped. And so if you click off of this and then click back on, it'll like remap to where it came from. So let's do page 2 now. So we click on page 2, and it's automatically filled in this course/Midjourney. And so again, we want generating art and images. Let's grab that path here and click on this, and then we're gonna put it Midjourney versus DALL-E just like that. So we'll just say push. All right, and that's it. So now both of the content of these pages is in our GitHub repo in the new content branch. So if we went to, say, Visual Studio here locally and refresh and pull that branch, let me use GitHub Desktop. I'm not logged in with the right user in Visual Studio Code, but I am here in the desktop. So there we go. So it pulled the content, and so now we should see that folder. Where is it? Course, generating art and images. So here's the 2 documents. All right, so now what we could do is use something like GitHub Copilot to help us maybe enhance the content of these documents. If you notice that the first one used a bunch of bold, see it's a bunch of H1 statements, which is kind of annoying, and then the second one looks okay, but I think we could do a better job. And so we'll just have the AI kind of help us format this content just a little bit better. This page looks pretty good, but that first page, you know, not so much. So let's have it help out here. So if we come back, we'll just come down here and say, we'll put both of these, select both of these and drag them down here so it has access to both of them. And I'll say, reformat these pages to use a similar style with content ready for school. And so the AI, just a general GPT, knows that Skool uses kind of some basic HTML formatting. And so I haven't yet developed like a Skool converter skill that we could use, but maybe I will at some point here. And so it's going to read these 2 files and then kind of rewrite that content for us. And then we can just sync it back to Skool. So let's wait just a minute for this to look at our content, and we'll go from there. All right, so it finished. It made a couple edits. Still working on it a little bit, but so what we can do is we can preview this, you know, here in VS Code. Looks like it's making a few more. Okay, now it says it's done. So it made some changes to both of these. First off, it, you know, got it away from a single line of text and kind of reformatted it a little bit better. And then hopefully it rewrote some of the content a bit. So in order to take a look at that, you can use an extension here in VS Code, or you can just open up, these are just HTML files, right? You could just open them up in a browser. But I can just do Control-Shift-P and then use this HTML previewer. And you can see this is what that content looks like in a crude, you know, HTML sense. But that's good. That's what I want, right? So let's take a look at the second one. Control-Shift-P, and this is this HTML previewer. And so this is what this one's going to look like. And so yeah, that looks good. We're just comparing these different photos from DALL-E to Midjourney. And so that content looks good. So all we'll do is just check this in. So we'll say, all right, made some content updates to lesson, what was it, the art to art lesson. Okay, check that in. Use my desktop to sync it. All right, and that's it. Now we'll come back to Skool, and we'll just say pull. So it'll pull that content in from GitHub. You can see it's kind of reformatted it all. And then the second page here, we can say pull, and it'll pull this content in as well. So that way you can, edit your content like outside of Skool and sync it back into Skool. It can also help post community content. So if you have something that can if you create some content, whether it's, I've got a sample folder here, it can be HTML or Markdown, either type of content. You can come here and click on the classroom and then pick your content and then use this apply selected file to post, and it will fill in and even add videos to your Skool content. You can see here it's synced in 2 videos and then put in all this content. And so it's up to you to pick a category now and attach anything you might want to attach outside of videos. If you've got links or attachments, you can do that now. It doesn't sync those. And you can go ahead and post the content. So that way you can also, create content with tools outside of Skool, and then just apply that content directly with the Git Skool sync utility. So same kind of thing here. You can see we did 2 videos, but this was more of a markdown file. And you can look at those here, Skool community. Here's the markdown. So this content is, in MD or markdown format like this. And the other one is in HTML. And so it looks like regular HTML. So either way you want to write the content, the extension can reformat it and get it, into Skool the correct way, and then you just pick a category and you can post. All right, so that's it. Check it out. aiea.dev is my community, and if you're a member of aiea.dev, you can get this Git Skool extension for free. If not, there's a paid trial or an annual or lifetime license that you can use. No AI functionality, so it's just a license that you're buying. And with the license, I'll keep it updated if there's any issues with the content failing, or if Skool changes their interface, stuff like that. I'll keep it updated and working for you. So check it out, gitskool.com. Thank you.